Alright mate, Slimeade here, and if you're a Final Fantasy fan like I am, you'll know that Final Fantasy IV has a lot of different versions. It started out on the SNES, but it was ported to the PS1, the WonderSwan, the Game Boy Advance, the FOMA 9030, what is that? The DS, the PSP, and it was remade for the Pixel Remaster as well. Now speaking of the Pixel Remaster, it does appear on the PC, the Switch, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, while the DS version was also ported to iOS and Android. Now that's actually a pretty wide range of hardware, and a wide range of hardware has a wide range of capabilities. But for the focus of this video, I'm on about the sound specifically. And I mean, the WonderSwan actually only had 4 pulse-based sound channels, meaning it was basically 8-bit music, which means we're in the unique circumstance where a game that was made for 16-bit hardware actually has 8-bit renditions of its soundtrack. Have a listen. And to be honest, I think that's quite wonderful for one specific reason. Final Fantasy IV was actually planned for the NES before development shifted over to the SNES, so it's a peek of what could have been. Anyway, you'll notice that all the earlier versions of Final Fantasy IV uses sequence music, like you'd expect, but later versions use streamed music. If that confuses you, let me explain. Ever heard of MIDI files? Those are a kind of sequence music. Many old games actually used similar methods to actually play music in the game. Essentially, the music is compiled by the game itself while playing through a list of instructions. Think of it a little bit like a music box in a way. Stream music, on the other hand, is a pre-made file, so it's already been pre-made and pre-compiled by the developers of the game. So it's more or less like loading up an MP3 file in VLC Media Player or whatever you've got. Traditionally, a lot of the older games only use sequence music for one specific reason. It's because streamed music was way too large to put on cartridges. That's why in consoles such as the Sega CD and the PS1, which were disc-based systems, you saw a massive influx in streaming music rather than sequence music, because CDs had much larger storage space. However, this brings me to a weird quirk of a few versions of Final Fantasy IV, specifically the DS version. Now the DS is actually fully capable of playing streamed music, however due to storage space it is still very uncommon. There's only one instance that I can think of a DS game that actually used streamed music, that being Pokemon Black and White 2's opening theme. Now the reason why I brought that up is because Final Fantasy IV on the DS actually uses entirely sequence music, but for some reason its ports on the iOS and Android actually used the streamed music that was made for the PSP version. Now because nobody's ever actually uploaded the true DS soundtrack of Final Fantasy IV, I went out of my way to rip one track specifically for this comparison, but give it a listen. As you'll notice, they do sound very drastically different, especially with the brass and the strings. Weirdly enough, Square Enix themselves have uploaded the Final Fantasy IV DS soundtrack online, but it's the PSP version. It's actually available on YouTube to listen to. You can actually see what I mean. They all do have Japanese titles, so it might be a little tricky to find, but it is up there on YouTube. Anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time for whatever random video I do. Bye!